Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are sitting at Monday. We're a day past the NASCAR Cup Series race at Dover. And with time to kind of sit down and process the race and really think about it, there's a question that needs to be asked. And it's a question that everybody's kind of had lurking in the back of their minds since the next gen car made its debut. And that is, why is the next gen car so bad? Don't get me wrong, the next gen car can put on great racing, but it only comes, it seems, at 1.5 mile cookie cutters and road courses. Now, what makes this next gen car, and what problems do we have in general that lead to bad racing almost week in and week out? You can make the argument and you can make the debate that everybody's closer. There's more parity. There's more party. I'm sorry, I'm really not sure which pronunciation it is. But again, you could make the argument that it's pretty much a level playing field. A lot of these parts are the same through teams like Hendrick to teams like Rick Ware Racing. And that is absolutely true. And it seems like week in and week out, there are different cars that could win. We're seeing a lot of, winners that we really wouldn't see with the Gen 6 car. But one thing that does stand out is how hard it is to make passes in this car. And just kind of some other things like we saw in Dover. For instance, aero blocking seemed to play a really big part in the race. Chase Elliott led the first stage at least, and really had the race wrapped up until the questionable pit call by Alan Gustafson. But despite other people having faster cars and other people that should have been able to move up through the field, it really didn't happen. We saw Denny Hamlin on older tires win the race yesterday, and that's not to discredit Denny Hamlin, because as much as I don't like him, as much as I think probably most of you don't like Denny Hamlin, he is a fantastic race car driver. But there is not a world that we live in where Denny Hamlin should be on 10-lap older tires, able to hold off Chase Briscoe on 10-lap, maybe 13-lap fresher tires. At that, Denny Hamlin on 60-lap old tires set the fastest lap of the race at Dover on Sunday. That is a problem. The racing product is bad, not because of one flaw, not because of two, but a multitude of them. For one, the cars need to be a lot harder to drive. I don't think I'm alone in saying that. These cars are built a lot different than the Gen 6, a lot different than even the Xfinity cars. It seems like these cars are tailor-made to be easier to drive, especially with less horsepower. You don't have much of a way to really overdrive your car. I mean, you definitely do, but it seems like back in the day, one wrong move could have you wrecked, absolutely junked in turn 4, and your day is done. Now we've got composite body panels. We've got the DVP, which thankfully they did change the policy on that, because it is nice to see cars being able to get back out there and complete laps rather than, having a tire go down, getting into the wall, getting some heavy damage, and that ending your race. It's nice to see guys still trying to fix that car to go out there and pick up any spots they can. But they definitely need to put horsepower back into these machines. They definitely need to take away some of the downforce and make them harder to drive. You should be rewarded with speed if you can go out there and drive a loose handling race car and make it faster and keep it in your control and go faster than everybody else. Another big issue is I've got my Jimmy Johnson diecast here to give you kind of a little look. See this on the back of the car right here? This is the air diffuser. I'm sure most of you know what that is. But what does it do? Essentially, when you really break it all down, the reason that the air diffuser makes the racing bad is because it splits the air coming out of the back of the car, rather than all the older generations where it didn't really do that. It was just going under the car and coming out. This diffuser splits the air and kind of forces it, if there's a car right behind you, to disrupt the airflow that the car behind is getting. And that's what we talk about when we say aero blocking and dirty air and everything. It's so much more prevalent in this next gen car than it has been, I think, in probably any other generation car. And where that comes into play is exactly what we saw at Dover. A lot of what we see at most racetracks, where the second place car might be faster, but once he catches up to that lead car, all you have to do is keep yourself in the line of whoever's chasing you, and you're going to use that dirty air from the diffuser. You're going to upset the car behind you, and there's no way to make a run. I think this car could be good. I like a lot of what I see with this car, but it's built to such a kind of sports car-esque spec that it's hard to see it really race good anywhere other than a road course, or for whatever reason, 1.5 miles. The Gen 6 got a lot of things wrong, but it got some things right. And the short track package, the super speedway package were things that the Gen 6 got right. NASCAR is never going to build a car that's good and that checks every box that we throw at it. You're not going to have a car that's great on super speedways, great on the short tracks, great on the intermediates, great on the cookie cutters, great on the road courses, and wherever else we may go. That's just not going to happen. But we need to be able to tick more than 2 of those boxes. This car should be able to put on better super speedway racing than it does. This car should be able to put on better short track racing than it does. And for whatever reason, we're not able to do that. And it leads to lackluster racing like we saw yesterday at Dover. Not to say Dover didn't have any sort of excitement, because definitely towards the end it did, but that was to no help of the car. That was strictly weather coming out at the right time, tire strategy, which didn't even end up mattering because Goodyear, for whatever reason, can't make a tire that truly wears and that truly matters if you save tires or if you're on older tires. Dover wasn't terrible at the end for those reasons, but all the way up until that first weather delay we had, where we stopped for a couple minutes and rode around under yellow, can you really think of a memorable moment? I was on the NASCAR subreddit, and I wasn't alone in thinking that this race was an absolute snooze fest, because that's how most Gen 7 races are. Every once in a while, we'll get lucky. There will be a guy absolutely dominating the race, nobody able to make a run, and the same guy that starts on pole leads the first couple hundred laps. And if we get lucky, he might have a bad pit stop, or self-spin, or get involved in an accident, or something will happen to change the dynamic of the race. But a lot of the times, we don't get that lucky. And even if we do, it then becomes whoever inherits the lead is basically going to dominate the rest of the race. There's not really much of an opportunity for a guy to drive through the field anymore, except for Kyle Larson and on certain types of tracks. We're going to Indy next week. How much do you want to bet the pole sitter finishes top 5 unless they have an accident, and the winner starts top 10? Bigger tracks, shorter tracks, whatever it may be, if it's not a road course, which SVG would just win anyway, or a 1.5-mile track, maybe Daytona, maybe Talladega, maybe Atlanta, you're not going to see somebody come through the field to win. We saw it at Charlotte in the Coke 600. Ross Chastain, 40th, dead last to the win. I don't know the exact number of races that we've had somebody start with from outside the top 10 and win, but I would guarantee you it's not going to be that high. There's just certain things that we need to work on with this car to make the racing better. And I think that there is a mix of things, like finding a good tire. Goodyear has to do something. Finding some sort of way to counteract this rear diffuser, or potentially even get rid of it. Because the rear diffuser, it doesn't just hurt the racing. In my personal opinion, we wondered why we saw so many different airborne rollover, flips with this next gen car. And it's not rocket science. It's because you have a flat underbody, and as soon as air catches this car, it's not doing anything to dissipate the air. It's going to catch the flat underbody, pick it up, and it's exactly like we saw with Priest a couple times, with I think Justin Haley at Michigan, or maybe Corey LaJoie at Michigan, Josh Berry at Talladega. I mean, it's no wonder. There are major issues with this car, but it can be fixed. Again, Goodyear, make a tire that wears. Make it so it matters if you have fresh tires at the end of a run. A guy on 60-lap older tires should not be setting the fastest lap of the race. There's no world where that makes any sense when there are guys out there on new tires in second position that can't even pass the guy in front. That's not how it used to be. And we need to get back to tire wear mattering. We need to get back to, if I have a run or I'm the faster car, you have to hold me off. You have to get in my way and make me get around you. None of this drifting up into my line to upset the air in the front of my car. That's not, in my opinion, that's not racing. That's just follow the leader. And we see it time and time again. I'd like to see horsepower added back into these cars. We're running not quite there yet, but almost half the horsepower we were probably less than 10 years ago. I think we used to be, 950? We might be at 550 now. That is a huge difference. Putting horsepower back into these cars in turn makes them harder to drive, which in turn will give us better racing, because it's not just going to be follow the leader anymore. And if I have a mistake or I overdrive, it's not going to cost me. No, you will have to be precise. It will cost you. Sure, we might see some of the same guys winning, 9, 10 races a year. Who cares? If they're winning races, if they have the speed and they know how to drive this car, somebody's got to figure out something different. The best driver every year should win the championship, and the best driver every race, more than likely, should win that race, unless they have some sort of accident or something. It's just, we're trying so hard to make everybody equal and make the field equal and keep things fair that it's becoming really boring. It's almost like F1. 9 times out of 10, whoever gets on the pole in F1 is going to win the race. And it sucks that we're seeing NASCAR go down that same path where if you're not top 5, you're probably not winning the race. You're probably not leading laps. You don't have much of a chance unless you play strategy. It's just disappointing to see, because I think back to the 2016 season where we had many memorable moments, even 2017, 2018, surprise winners, Matt DiBenedetto's unlikely run at Bristol where he came second and almost won the race in a Levine family racing car. And nowadays you couldn't do that, because if you have a run you're getting aero blocked, and everybody's cars are so close to each other that you can't really find much of a little edge to get you ahead. But that's pretty much all I've got. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on this and see if maybe I'm the only one that thinks this, or if you guys have any ideas that would maybe make the racing a little bit better. But that's just my take. Keep your eyes peeled. I will have some packages coming soon and a couple more diecasts to review, and we'll save that news for the next video. But again, just let me know your thoughts and keep your eyes peeled, because here in another couple days we'll be back with some more content for you. But let me know what you got to say. See you guys next time.